Hello and welcome to Let's Play Academy, where you learn how to be a better Let's Player. I'm Hadrix, and I've got HeyShadyLady with me today.
Hello.
So, we're going to be going over this weekly podcast how to improve at Let's Plays. Unfortunately, we have to start with what is a Let's Play? Which is actually a more interesting, detailed, and nuanced question than you might first expect.
I guess like at the basics though, a Let's Play is you sitting with a video game, recording it, and showing how you beat that game. It doesn't necessarily have to be video games, but Let's Play implies you're playing something. So the very basics, it's just a recording of you playing a game, and then you come into the question of how do you...
I'm not going to address the screen's hot and after action reports, but Let's Plays were originally text and GIFs.
Oh, interesting, like tutorials, really.
Well, yes and no. More like, I played this game of Dwarf Fortress and these horrible things happened with elephants, boat murdered. Or there's a famous one of Animal Crossing where they had this whole story where Tom Nook was evil and, it was...
I remember that one, yeah.
Yeah, you remember some of them. Those were the precursor to what we're doing now. And in fact, I think that they still make them on some of the forums like Something Awful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're only addressing videos, though, so we're not going to get too far into that. But anyway, go ahead and start with some of the genres you identified, because you were starting to tell me about them, and I'm actually really interested.
I had broken this list down of about 5 or 6. I come from a background of streaming on Twitch.tv, so my Let's Plays are live streamed as compared to recorded and then edited. I think that there's a big differentiation to make there.
Oh yeah, there is.
The ones that I was thinking just off the top of my head was blind playthroughs are a very specific type of experience. Speed runs is a different one. Management and building simulators, city skylines, stuff like that. The other ones like PUBG, Fortnite, Overwatch, where you're either on voice chat with someone or you're on with an entire team or squad. That's a very different type of experience. And then the creative genre on Twitch, even the IRL could be linked in, but I had it broken down into creative hands-free and creative hands-on. And with the creative stuff, it's really just like if someone is sculpting like a tiny face, or if they're like trying to get that last pixel down right, and that's a different type of creative experience compared to someone who is doing their makeup, or someone who is painting something large, or they're knitting, where they've got a lot of opportunities to stop and take a break and talk, or they can just sit and stare at chat nonstop in the case of knitting. But when it's something that requires like hand-eye coordination perfectly, you're not going to have a very talkative creative streamer at that point. Otherwise their creative task won't. And it's really similar when it comes to games, because there's some games like Animal Crossing is a good example. You could play the game without really looking at it a lot of the time, so you can be very hands-on with chat, as compared to something like Overwatch or PUBG, where if you look away for a second, you're dead and you ruin the match for everybody.
Audience participation through chat.
Yes.
It's interesting. I actually wouldn't count... I'm so elitist here. I don't think that knitting and art are Let's Plays. I think there's something else. But then you could say, what about sculpting in Minecraft? And I'd be like, is that different from painting?
It's I think it's more for me, because I understand exactly what you mean. When I watch Let's Plays, I'm watching to learn how to do something, or I'm watching to see someone do something in an elite way or like an amazing way. So I'm watching to get something out of it. And as someone who does stream creative on occasion, I'm a variety streamer, so I do all of it. But people come to creative stuff for the same reason. Like, oh, how did you get that? I've never done knitting streams, just so everyone knows. But I do like graphic design and stuff like that mostly, and sometimes like makeup streams. But my sister did knitting, and with that, like, they're doing all this crazy math and stuff like that. They're trying to count like how to turn the corner and make it into a toe, it covers your toes, and all this crazy stuff, which is the same kind of experience I get when I'm watching someone play City Skylines or Jurassic World. They're like thinking, they're plotting, they're like doing math. Stardew Valley, you're like, how many days until this crop is done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, it's the same kind of mental power going behind the creator, whether they're playing a video game or creative. And so I get what you mean with like, it's a video game Let's Play. tutorial. I think that the audiences are seeking the same kind of
it's interesting.
sustenance.
It's interesting you keep mentioning tutorial because that's actually I have a completely different system here that I've been trying to outline.
Yeah.
Tutorial walkthroughs, how to get achievements. I'd actually marked out as one of the categories with various subcategories. That whole thing. How to build certain houses in Minecraft was a real popular one. Like, here's how you build a East Colonial village house from circa such and such year.
Seen a couple of like speed plays of Minecraft where they like go from 0 to this type of architecture in X amount of time. I've seen a couple of those pop up.
I've seen a bunch where they time lapse it. They time lapse the building so that you see where all the blocks go really fast, and then talk about why they put things the way they put them. I had set it out here, and these are I'm probably gonna want to give them fancy names at some point. Right now, I've just got working names. I've got the skill genre. I'm trying to sort it out by what kind of skills the person making it has to have. So for the show off or skill genre, it's like your speed runs, your competitive play in StarCraft 2, or playing Super Metroid backwards was an example I used. Because it's this ridiculous, abusing so many glitches, doing all this crazy stuff, and those, I kind of think that the primary skill that the Let's Player or streamer has to have is just be really, really, really good at the game, because that's what people want to see. You don't want to watch the 4th fastest speed run. You want to see the current world record holder.
But if the 4th fastest speedrunner was also absolutely hilarious, people would want to watch them.
That's true.
That's the differentiation between like the skill-based versus entertainer.
Yeah, and then we get to humor. And there's several different ways, because humor plays into a lot of these. Like, humor could be improv, or it could be scripted. Actually, let's touch on scripted, because that's one of the weirder categories. Like, there was actually, I can't think of what it was called. I should have looked it up. There's actually a Let's Play of a game that doesn't exist.
Oh, wow.
They made up this PlayStation game. They kept telling people, oh, yeah, there's this PlayStation. Yeah, it's really weird. And then they programmed and made parts of it playable and literally fabricated this entire scripted Let's Play about this creepy old PlayStation game that doesn't exist.
I was gonna say that sounds like a creepypasta.
Yeah, it was like a whole series of it.
That's really cool.
There's other people.
That's a new level of.
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
I was just gonna say it was a new level of storytelling. Like, that's really impressive.
It kind of is, actually. We're kind of in virgin territory. Nobody's thinking about these as genres yet. We think genres. Oh, novels, books, the video games themselves. Nobody thinks about the Let's Players being genres. Like, 2 different Let's Plays of the same game could be completely different experiences to watch.
Absolutely. I think that's why there's certain titles that people are really attracted to watching people play for the first time.
Undertale.
Life is Strange. Undertale's an excellent example. Everyone's always pumped for a blind run of Undertale because you want to see, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to be a pacifist or not?
Well, how are they going to screw this up? What are they not going to figure out? How are they going to react to the first meeting with Toriel? And
exactly.
Yeah. I've kind of put down scripted as this kind of heavily edited, like you see people role playing. I think
oh yeah
Team 4 Star started doing it as Nappa and Vegeta and stuff.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah. In character role playing the entire time. Scripted, of course, is a very different kind of comedy writing than improv. It requires different skills because you have to be good at editing and acting. Improv, I'm kind of looking at it as all your rage games, all your horror games, all your, some of your comedy. A lot of the blind runs, you mentioned blind runs as a category. I kind of have that as a subcategory, but it's
That's good. That's a good point.
yeah.
Because anything could be done blind the first time, but you can still do a blind speed run. You're never gonna get the top score if you're doing it blind, of course,
I don't
because
think
like you were
I've
saying
ever
earlier,
seen
like glitches.
that.
I don't think I've ever seen a blind speed run, but I've seen people do blind. I'm just gonna like rush through this as fast as I can, but I've never seen it. I would watch a blind speed run, but you know they're never gonna get the top score because it's like you were saying, people take advantage of known glitches. You have to know what's coming, so you know to jump that thing that's gonna pop up in front of you.
If you had somebody that was willing to look them over beforehand so that there could be some consistency, you could do it with Mario Maker, actually.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that would be a good one because those games are so like a couple of minutes long each, and that's it.
That would be a prime candidate for that. I've had some different ideas for competitive speed runs I've wanted to do for a while. Someday I'm gonna do a Dead Space race.
Oh my god, that would be so good.
Okay. Drown out. Have you ever encountered a drown out?
No, I haven't heard this term.
Okay. God, there's a few different weird examples of it, but it's like you're not even playing the game anymore. There's like somebody who's just talking politics while there's gameplay footage running, or yachts.
Okay, so like the good old what's his face with the little chin.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who you're thinking of.
It's one of the dudes that does like drama videos. One of the old kids.
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
like,
the drama videos. You probably nailed
similar
it.
to being politics because it still touches on political topics. They're just rather than talking about like candidates and stuff like that, they're talking about, did you hear that so and so streamer did this? Or
I think the prime example is Zero Punctuation, Yahtzee Crosshaw. I'm mangling his name. He does drownouts. He'll do like Desert Bus Simulator. This like 3-hour game of driving a bus on a straight highway, and he'll just be blabbing about stuff for hours that have nothing to do with the quote-unquote game he was playing.
So that's why it's not really necessary to break it down into genres as horror, this and that, because anybody could play a horror game and never say a word to the audience or never say a word out loud. They're just trying to beat it as quickly and with the high score that they can.
Speed run it, yeah.
Or it could be just, I'm playing a horror game and I'm just kind of like screwing around and I died like 8 times and okay, we didn't even make it to the first save point. We've been playing for 4 hours, but we had a good time, didn't we? Like anybody can play any game in any style. So I see why you broke it into like show off versus improv versus, I see that now. In my head, I was like, if I was like tonight, if I was going to sit down and stream Stardew Valley, I know what kind of experience to expect from that for myself. Like I know what I need to be prepared for as the creator.
But then there's what's the experience the audience is going to have watching it.
Receiving, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like each of these should be a different, sometimes related set of skills, and there's overlap. I mean, you can be in more than one at once, I think. And I kind of want to do podcasts on each genre and be like, okay, here's how to get good at this one. Okay, let's throw some weird shit that doesn't fit, cause this is not comprehensive, and I'm hoping people will put in the comments all the stuff I've missed, cause I know I'm missing things, but. Here's some weird things that don't fit anywhere in my system. Twitch plays Pokemon.
I think I just cut back in. I think I missed the last 15 seconds of what you said. I'm sorry about that.
I'm sorry. We're on the subject of things. I don't feel like my system is comprehensive, so let's start throwing weird stuff at it and see if we can figure out what it is. So I threw the weirdest thing I could think of, which was Twitch plays Pokemon. What genre is that?
Oh my god, they're nightmares.
Yeah.
But it's so fun to watch, and you're like, oh my god, did we really just...
It's engaging, but it doesn't fit anywhere in my neat little system. I'm like, what is that?
That one, yeah, a Twitch play of that is such an oddball, because that is, what would you even call that kind of experience anyway?
I don't know.
Has anything like that been done? Like, it's sort of
Anywhere?
like performance art in a really weird way. Like,
Oh, these are all performance arts of their own
well,
different
yeah,
kinds.
that's true.
Except the
That's
scripted
true.
ones.
They could still technically be performance art, though, because plays are scripted too, and that's still performance.
True.
And some ways it's harder to do scripted than it is to do improv for me, because when I'm improving, the emotion is real, and when I'm scripted, I feel like it always comes off like dry and like I don't mean what I'm saying. I guess I'm not the best at acting. Maybe that's the thing. Some people are better at that than others. Um, but I don't know. It's hard for me to do scripted. A lot of times I end up like it's more effective for me to have bullet points and just jump off of idea from idea rather than
Like what
every
we're doing
sentence has to be
here.
like this. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I am very interested in receiving comments. That's not just because comments are engagement and that makes YouTube promote the video, like everyone else on YouTube. No, I'm genuinely interested in knowing what I'm missing and what everyone thinks of this. Because I want to get this thing figured out. It's the foundation. It's what we work off of. So, until next time and every time, this is HeyDrix, and
I'm HeyShadyLady. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this.
yeah, no problem. It's great having you.
Thank you.
Signing off.
Bye bye.